Hello friends. This is the Ani Fanfics. How are you all? So we are back with an amazing movie on what if Kid Naruto was the Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. Here is a summary. Forbidden to duel by his mother, Naruto Namikaze embarks on a quest to show the world he has what it takes to become a champion. With the power of 4 mighty dragons by his side, there is nothing he can't do. But before we begin, be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Now let's begin. Konohakage, the yellow flash, screamed in agony, battling the greatest foe he's ever faced. He knew without a shadow of doubt he would not survive, but in order to ensure his children's future he had no choice. "Ah, Kushina," cried Minato, as his wife had his hand in a death grip. "Minatoo, I swear you are going to pay off," his wife screamed, in rage and agony as the first of her babies started to come out.
"Be a man, Minato, you call yourself a Hokage," Bawako told the Yondaime-sama, giving him a look of disapproval. Looking back down, she can see the first child's head. "I can see the head just a little more, Kushina. Push," she screamed, and as told, Kushina pushed with all her strength, eager to get this hell over with. "Ah!" she screamed one last time before, a look of almost pure bliss and relief crossed her face. "Thank Kami," she almost cried in happiness as
Bawako put the baby to one side, before she came back to attending Kushina.
"Now for the little boy," Bawako said with a smile. Crack went Minato's hand. "My hand!" Minato screamed in agony. "Minato, you are dead. Do you hear me?" Kushina roared, crushing her husband's hand.
After another few minutes of death threats made in the thorns of pain, Kushina finally gave birth to her 2 beautiful children.
"Congratulations, it's a healthy pair of twins," Bawako said, handing the children to their mother. The first was a boy that looked just like Minato with the same tanned skin and blonde hair, but he had inherited Kushina's face. His most noticeable trait were whisker-like scars on each of his cheeks. The girl was the spitting image of Kushina and had her beautiful crimson-red hair.
"Hello Sochi, Masumi," Kushina said, hugging her children close, tears of now flowing down her cheeks. "Welcome to our family, Natsumi, Naruto," Minato said, smiling at his 2 children, tears of joy running down his face. The dimensional gap. Somewhere in an empty void of pure darkness, none only is the dimensional gap, and monstrous creature floated through the empty space. It stood in a massive height, a large gray 3-headed dragon and large demonic face on its stomach. Its 4 sets of eyes began to glow as it let out a ferocious roar that shook up the entire dimension.
"So you have finally returned, my mortal enemy," a voice spoke up.
"Konoha, rest Kushina, you will have plenty of time to spend with your children," Bawako said, picking up the twins and moving them to a blanket next to their mother. "Ah!" Kushina screamed, in pain as the seal on her stomach began to crackle with black lightning.
"Damn it, the seal!" Minato cursed as he rushed to his wife's side, trying to repair the seal. "Don't worry Kushina, I'll have this seal fixed in a bit." Minato smiled as his wife gave a weak nod.
Minato looked over to his 2 slumbering children, and a serious expression came to his face, and doubled his efforts. He had a new resolve. To protect his family no matter what.
A scream caught the family's attention. Turning to the source of the scream, Minato's heart stopped as Bawako fell to the ground and his 2 newborn children were in the hands or cloaked man in an orange spiraled mask. Naruto and Natsumi were in his right hand, Natsumi hugging her little brother close as he whimpered, a hand hanging threateningly over them. "Step away from the Jinchuriki or these children will die," the man said in deathly tone. Bawako and the nursemaid lay dead at his feet. "Naruto, Natsumi," the parents yelled, their children in danger.
"Okay, just calm down," Minato said, frightened, concern evident in his eyes.
"Speak for yourself, Yondaime." "I am perfectly calm," the masked man said as held the twins. Naruto looked up at the man and knew he was a bad man. He looked at his big sister hugging him and his worried parents, and for some reason that made him angry. The blonde baby soon had an angry before he noticed the hole in the mon's mask. He didn't know why, but his head told him to do it. He raised his hand and poked him in the eye. "Ah! My eye! My eye! Oh, you little bastard!" the masked man screamed while Naruto laughed as he tried to ease the pain. Suddenly, in a yellow flash, Minato grabbed Naruto and Natsumi and delivered a strong kick, pushing the man back against the wall. Buzzing was heard as Minato realizes 5 explosive tags placed in the blanket around Minato. In a burst of speed, Minato removes the blanket and teleports to his safe house. Minato's safe house. Outside of Konoha. An explosion occurred as Minato is blasted away with his children in his arms. Teleporting to the Namikaze compound, Minato placed Naruto and Natsumi on the bed. "Don't worry, I'm going to save your mother. I'll right back," Minato whispered.
Unknown location. The masked man approached Kushina. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a strange card called Violet Flash and used it to warp the two away outside the house, placing a hand over her stomach and holding a blank card to the sky, draining the Kyuubi's spirit from Kushina's body and sealing it into the cards itself.
In a couple of minutes, the man held up the card and the mighty 9-tailed fox materialized in all its fearsome glory, its 9 tails swinging. The masked man appeared atop the beast's head and slammed his hand down upon its head, causing a dark aura to cover the Kyuubi's body.
"What are you doing?" Kushina said weakly, but she understood what was about to happen.
"You of the Uzumaki clan are truly incredible. Not even the removal of a tailed beast is enough to kill you," the masked man said, praising Kushina's vitality as he motioned for the 9 tails to kill his former jailer. Kyuubi was about to crush Kushina. A yellow flash was seen. Standing in a tree not far away stood Minato, holding his wife in his arms tightly.
The masked man gave an impressed whistle. "He truly lives up to his title as the Yellow Flash," the masked man said before teleporting away towards the village.
Minato flashed to the Namikaze compound, laying Kushina near her children as she embraced them. "Kushina, I'm going to stop the Kyuubi. Take care of them," Minato said before he vanished in a yellow flash.
The northern entrance of Konoha. Kuchio's no jutsu, the masked man said, slapping the Kyuubi's card onto his dual disc and bursting forth was the Kyuubi, ready to unleash its fury upon the village. Suddenly a loud roar was heard as the Kyuubi swung its tails and paused to swipe away anything that was in his way.
"Sandaime, the 9 tails has appeared in the northern part of the village," Anbu said, bowing to Sandaime Hokage. "Yes, I heard it. Begin evacuation efforts immediately. We must push the Kyuubi out of the village," the Sandaime ordered, strapping on his dual disc.
Minato Namikaze flew through the sky atop, standing in the top of his trust ace monster Hokage, ready to seal the Kyuubi. Suddenly everything begins to become distorted as the masked man starts to absorb in a ripple-like pattern Minato. Before it's finished, Minato disappears. He flashed away to his safe house.
Minato's safe house. Outside of Konoha, Minato and the man stood outside the safe house glaring at each other. It was quiet and wind and grass were the only sounds that could be heard. Minato pulled out his dual disc and strapped it onto his right arm. The man said nothing as he did the same. "Who are you?" Minato asked. "My name is long forgotten and despised in the history of this village. But you can call me Toby," Toby replied, chuckling. "Now then, shall we begin our duel?" the man said, preparing to take on the strongest duelist in Konoha. "Wait." A voice spoke up. Minato and the masked man turned to see a black portal opening up behind them. Waking out was a man dressed in a black cloak similar to the masked man underneath a gray vest with long sliver shoulder pads with golden highlights and crimson jewel in the center. "Who are you?" Minato asked, glaring at the new enemy. His body was surrounded by a blackish flame-like aura. "My name is nothing of consequence to someone who is about to vanish," the man replied. He picked up the jewel and held it up in the air as it released a crimson-red glow, and his right arm was covered by a black gauntlet with golden wing-like attachments and a yellow orb in the center of the palm area. "Now shall we?" "Fine then," Minato said, ready to battle. "Let's duel," the two men said in unison. Minato. 4,000. 4,000, I shall begin this duel," the man said as he draws. "I summon unformed larva, 0/0, in attack mode," the monster said. A black ooze sprung from the ground and began to take form as a small creature similar in appearance to that of a worm or a cocoon with a green membrane. "What type of monster is that?" Minato wondered as he looked at the formless creature. Though it appears weak, Minato could see a dark power surrounding it. "I shall summon my luster dragon, 1900-1600. Appearing in front of the yellow flash was a beautiful sapphire dragon. "Now attack his spawn larva." Luster Dragon unleashed a strong flame towards the creature, causing it to let out a squeal of pain as it wax incarnated. 4000-2100.
Spawn Larva's ability activates. When it is destroyed, I am able to summon 2 more spawn larva from my deck, the man said as 2 more larvae materialized in front of him. I now offer up my spawn larva to special summon spawn cage. The first larva's membrane became red as it began to take on a new form. Its body grew and 6 long teeth-like appendages grew, giving it the form of a cage. Now I offer my second larva to call upon my spawn tree, 0/0. The second larva began to grow, its appendages seeking into the ground like roots, and long branches grew out its body, giving it the form of a tree.
Now spawn cage attack. The masked man commanded as the red spawn opened its jaw and sunk into the ground. Minato looked around, cautious to where it would strike. Soon the teeth sprung from the ground, dragging the dragon underground before spawn cage appeared back on its master's side with the dragon trapped.
When my spawn monster attacks a monster, that monster is imprisoned by and its atk points becomes my cages. The masked man said as his monster sprouted tentacles the sunk into luster dragon's body, creating Blavik veins pulsating through the dragon's body as its power was drained. 0-1900.
Secondly, whenever a spawn monster's ATK points change, my spawn tree increases my life points equal to the change. The masked Mazin explained. Spawn tree unleashed glowing yellow pollen through the air, his master's body covered by a green aura. 2100-4000.
He not only was able to bring out 2 monsters, but he also captured one of my monsters and regained his life points. Minato thought, looking at the masked man before him. But I can't worry about this right now.
I draw. Minato declared as he draws. First I activate Graceful Charity, which allows me to draw 3 new cards from my deck, however I must discard 2. Minato said as he drew 3 new cards from his duel disc, then slotting 2 of them.
Next I shall activate Graceful Charity, Minato said, holding up the spell, shocking both men.
Impossible, 2 consecutive Graceful Charities, the man in the orange mask exclaimed in shock while his partner looks on with intrigue. So this is the skill of duelist who is said to reach perfection. I can see why Kushina fell for him. Minato's opponent thought, smiling under his mask. This will be enjoyable.
Now I activate the dragon's Chaos Gateway, Minato shouted as a large altar sprung from the ground. On the right was an Eastern-style dragon with a purple orb in its jaws, while in the other was a Western dragon holding a yellow orb in its claws.
With this card I am able to summon any dragon of light and darkness so long as I banish one of each. First I banish Axe Dragnute and Alexandrite Dragon. The spirits of 2 dragons appeared above Minato, the one a humanoid black dragon wielding an axe, the other a majestic dragon made of priceless gems. The 2 statues created a large portal, consuming both of them.
Ancient dragon of light, born of the heavens and the stars, appear now and join me in battle to vanquish evil. Minato chanted as a white aura surrounding his body, appear. Light Pulsar Dragon, 2500-1500. A shimmering dragon emerged, having blue scales and 2 large wings, covered in white armor. The blue particles were billowing from a hole in its chest, giving off a twinkling aura. It crossed its arms in defense mode, but its already red eyes glowed brighter.
So this is one of the Yellow Flash's famed twin dragons, the masked man said in awe, gazing at the majestic dragon. Now I banish Sayaru and Kumori Dragon, Minato shouted as a pink pterodactyl-like dragon and a purple-winged servant dragon appeared before being absorbed by the portal like the 2 dragons before them. Ancient dragon of darkness, born of the flames of hell and the infinite darkness of the cosmos, appear before us now, lay waste to the scum that lay before us.
Minato chanted as a black aura whipped around him. Come forth, Darkflare Dragon, 2400-1200. A massive pillar of darkness and fire appeared rising into the sky before it was dispelled by a new dragon, this one being mostly black with some red skin, 4 jagged wings behind it. A hole in its chest billowed out embers, forming a ring of fire around it.
Now he has both dragons, the orange masked man said, gazing upon the fearsome duo. Now I activate Dragonic Chaos Wrath, Minato said, holding up his card, creating a spiraling pillar of blue and red flames, orbs of light and dark energy surrounding both duelists. With this, if I have a light and dark attributed dragon on my field, I am able to wipe the field of all your monsters, Minato announced as both his dragon's jaws opened, unleashing streams of blue and red energy, destroying both his opponent's monsters, creating a powerful shockwave pushing the masked man back, causing him to skid across the dirt. Now have my monsters' 80 points are dealt to you as damage, Minato said as the orbs surrounding them exploded on by one, with the masked man engulfed in a pillar of light. Gah! The masked man roared as he was hit by the pillar, his eyes widening from the pain. 4000-1550. The pillar soon vanished with the masked man on his knees breathing heavily. A piece of his mask cracked off, exposing his right eye, which was crimson red with a yellow slit. My. You certainly. Don't hold back, do you? Yellow flash. The masked man said, catching his breath while Minato glared at him, not saying a word. Due to my chaos wrath I am unable to attack this turn. So I shall end my turn setting one card face down. Minato finished as his opponent rose to his feet, dusting himself off. That was very impressive. Now it's my turn once again. The masked man said as he draws. I activate the effect of the spawn tree in my graveyard. By banishing a spawn monster in my hand, I'm able to revive the spawn monsters in my graveyard hand equal to its level. The man slotted a card with an image of a new spawn creature in form of a pair of wings. I banish level 4 spawn wings. Now arise my fallen spawns. The masked called as 4 black portals opened and the 4 spawn creatures rose up. Due to spawn wings ability, I'm able changing the levels of my current monsters to match its own. The masked man stated as his monsters became surrounded by yellow aura with 4 stars above their heads.
Now I overlay my 4 level 4 spawn beasts. The 4 spawn creatures became fully purple energy, shooting up and spiraling around each other. A black and purple spiral portal appeared. All 4 monsters flew into it.
You who shall awaken. The masked man began. One of the evil dragons who once fell before the power of supremacy.
You who hunger for the infinite power of God and fear over the hopes of humanity, awaken, evil dragon who seeks out the path of domination. Lead us to the bloody path of purgatory. The man chanted as his black aura bursts, debris and wind starting to circulate around. Minato looked up as massive as the sky began to crack and 2 massive claws emerged, a pair of blood-red eyes glaring down at the Yodime Hokage.
Arise now, demonic dragon. The man roared as the silhouette of a massive dragon appeared before them. Its size easily matched the Kyuubi, both Minato's dragons only coming up to its feet. What monster is this? Minato gasped in disbelief.
Battle was the only thing the man uttered as the dragon raised its claw. Minato raised up his arms and braced himself, as a massive shock wave erupted from the impact, sending the blonde Hokage flying as he crashed into a nearby tree. Minato fell to his knees, spiting out blood.
Second attack. The man said as the monster held up its claw again, lunging at Minato, who looked down to his face down. Activate Forbidden Trap. Minato said as his card flipped. A forbidden trap. The masked man said in disbelief as a massive hurricane erupted around them. Toby. We have to retreat now, Minato's opponent stated. But Toby tried to argue but was silenced by his partner's glare before the vanished. Namikaze Safe House. Arriving near the safe house with the Kyuubi on its toll, Minato is panting from the massive chakra usage he just pulled to teleport the Kyuubi. Yondaime, quick, you must seal me before I refuse to be sealed again. Kyuubi roars, much to Minato's surprise.
He wants me to seal him, thought Minato as he teleported to the safe house. Kushina ran out carrying both her children, while Natsumi managed to somehow sleep through the whole ordeal. Naruto was wide awake, but despite the chaos going around him, his young eyes held no fear. He looked up to Kyuubi as it lashed out, attacking everything in sight, but somehow he felt it in pain and held up his hands.
Minato and Kushina watched in shock as their youngest baby released a radiant golden aura in the form of a dragon. The dragon wrapped itself around the Kyuubi like a snake, restraining it from doing any more harm. Minato looked at his son and sensed something inside Naruto that he had never sensed before. Could he be? Minato said, looking at Naruto before taking him from Kushina's arms. What are you going to do? Kushina demanded as Minato summoned an altar and set Naruto down. Naruto, Natsumi, take care of each other and please look after your Ka-san for me, okay? Minato whispered tearily to his son.
No, Minato, don't do this. Kushina cried, holding out her hand to her beloved and her son as a barrier surrounded starts performing a long chain of seals, and at the end he shouts. Shiki Fujin, dead demon consuming seal. Minato yelled as a light engulfed him and his son. Kushina could only watch on as her husband ended his life sealing the Biju inside their only son. Kushina ran over to her fallen lover, holding his head in her lap, tears streaming down her eyes before looking at her son. A young man yawned as he rose from his slumber. He stretched his arms and cracked his neck before getting out of bed. He was 12 years old and had spiky blonde hair, tan-skinned young man with blue eyes. His most noticeable feature was his whisker-like scars. He wore a black t-shirt that had a red spiral on his chest with a dark orange long-sleeve undershirt, black fingerless, brown cargo pants with two deck pockets, and black ninja sandals. This young man was Naruto Uzumaki Namikaze.
Naruto-kun, you're up early. An elderly voice spoke up, getting the boy's attention.
Standing behind Naruto was a stout elderly man with his most notable features being his shrt white beard. His attire consists of a red and black ceremonial robe tied around at his waist which he wears over a gray shirt. He also wears dark green pants and sandals with white socks. The man was Roku, the master of the duel sanctuary. Roku was no far and wide as a respected duelist and a close personal friend of Solomon Muto, grandfather of the King of Games.
Oh hey Gigi, what's up? Naruto said with a smile to his teacher and grandfather figure. Oh nothing. Just checking to see how you're doing today. Roku replied.
I'm fine, just about to start my morning training, Naruto said as he ran past Roku and straight to the outside.
Outside the duel sanctuary, Naruto stretches his arms as he breathes in the fresh air, taking in the sights of the large mountain that was the duel sanctuary, a temple owned by Roku, a training ground for promising young duelist. The temple was surrounded by high and sturdy stone walls, with the entrance being a big golden gate with two statues near them. On the right stood a statue resembling the mighty Blue Eyes White Dragon. On the left stood Red Eyes Black Dragon. Both monsters stood with fearsome expressions as if guarding the gate. Naruto sat in the lotus position in the sanctuary's garden, taking in the scent of the plants and flowers surrounding him. He took in a deep breath, taking in the aroma of the fresh air and the flowers around him. Naruto's cards lay in front of him, arranged around him, each one radiant with a golden aura. Naruto looked at each of his cards with a proud smile. No matter what hardships he went through in life, his cards had always been with him. His eyes fell on one card in particular, Odd Eyes Dragon. This had been the first card Naruto ever had since he was born and had always been with him. Naruto smiled as he picked up the card. No matter what happens, we'll always pull through, right partner? Naruto said, looking up at the sprite of odd eyes standing in front of him. Naruto Dreamscape. Naruto opened his eyes to find himself lying on some grass. He got up and saw a magnificent and peaceful landscape. A huge waterfall and lake and grass and trees were as far as the eye could see. Hey kid. Naruto heard a gruff voice and looked up to see the Kyuubi no Kitsune. Hey Kurama, Naruto said, greeting the fox spirit. So here for some meditation training again? Kurama asked. Naruto nodded.
Yeah, so you up for it, partner? Naruto asked with a grin, which Kurama returned. The massive fox was engulfed in pillar of red chakra. When the pillar vanished, in place of large fox was a tall man at least 6 feet tall. He had long spiked red hair reaching down to his waist. His eyes were crimson red with black slits. He had whisker marks on his face like Naruto's body, thicker and more savage. He wore an open black trenchcoat with torn sleeves and GI pants. You ready, kid? Kurama said, taking a stance. You bet, Naruto said. Without warning, Kurama charged Naruto down, shooting straight forward to the young blonde. Naruto calmly watched Kurama's, waiting till the last second before leaping straight up into the air, up into the sky. Kurama flew past his position, sending a roundhouse kick where Naruto once stood. Naruto then reappeared behind the human Biju. With a growl, Kurama punched at him. Seeing this, Naruto sidestepped and spun away, parrying the blow in his movements. The two charged towards each. The two soon began to fight. On the defense, Naruto moved around, evading Kurama's attacks and blocking them. Naruto drove his knee into Kurama's stomach, sending him 20 feet into the air. Kurama braced himself as he hovered in the air, preparing himself for Naruto's next attack. Naruto soon flew up to meet Kurama in the sky. Kurama growled as he floated back, staggered from the blow. Wiping his bleeding lip quickly, he flew forward again at super fast speeds, reaching Naruto in 2 seconds flat. Naruto stepped back quickly, raising his defenses. He blocked and continuously evaded quick, powerful strikes, ducking and sidestepping. Kurama smirked before vanishing. Kurama appeared right in front of him and delivered a powerful punch straight to his face that sent Naruto tumbling to the ground. Naruto slowly got up as Kurama appeared next to him and kneed him in the stomach and sent him crashing to the wall. Naruto slowly got up as Kurama appeared next to him. Kurama crouched down and kicked him into the air. Naruto looked as Kurama launched another fist towards him. Naruto blocked the attack with his knee, gritting his teeth as he pushed past the pain.
Naruto jumped a bit to gain height and sent a backwards roundhouse kick straight across the Kurama's face. This one sent the fox spinning through the air and coming to a crash meters away. He skidded backwards along the ground, dust hurling and cracking around him. Leaning forward and positioning his feet to slow his track, the Kyuubi looked up, the corner of his mouth bleeding and cheeks bruised.
Just as he was getting back to a proper stance, he got the surprise of his life when Gohan suddenly appeared in front of him. Naruto grinned before he started hammering blows into Kurama's stomach. After what appeared to be a constant 50 uppercuts to the gut, Naruto punched Kurama in the chin and, increasing his altitude level just a bit, roundhouse kicked Kurama to the ground. Damn, that Gaki has gotten stronger. Kurama smirked, wiping the blood from his cheek as Naruto lowered himself to the ground.
Good workout, kid. Kurama said, walking up to Naruto, giving him a pat on the back.
He, thanks Kurama, Naruto said, sheepishly scratching his nose. Naruto's eyes soon widened as a strange pulse filled his body.
Naruto, you okay? Naruto, what's wrong? Kurama said, gripping the boy's shoulders. Suddenly odd eyes appeared behind Naruto, covered by a crimson-red aura, its heterochromatic eyes glowing fiercely crimson-red aura similar to Kurama's own.
Hey, what's going in here? Kurama demanded before looking up towards the sky to see the silhouettes of 3 other dragons hovering in the sky, their eyes each glowing as well. Odd eyes let loose a mighty roar, causing the other dragons to do the same, the force of the roars unleashing a gale of wind and a tremendous explosion of force, nearly knocking Kurama over. Kurama had to cover their eyes as debris flew around them. Naruto's eyes began to glow, his left eye emerald green, the right red, a crimson aura surrounding his body as he reared his head back and gave out a mighty roar of power. A tremendous shock wave ripped through the skies and shook the earth. The dual sanctuary. Roku looked up into as blue and golden lightning raged through the skies. They suddenly disappeared again, and so, the explosions of force and shock waves continued. At the fastest rate anyone had ever seen, these bursts of force created ripples. These ripples blew away anything that got within their radius, such as clouds and earth.
What in the world is going on? Roku said in shock. He looked over to a small shrine surrounded by lighting blue aura. Could it be?
This power. It's just as strong as old man Rikudo's, but how can that be? Unless. Kurama's eyes widened in shock as he remembered his father's words.
Long ago my brother gave up his life and became one with the 4 most fearsome of dragons. Do not tread them lightly, for their power surpasses even mine. Hagoromo's word echoed through Kurama's head like an unending echo.
These must be the 4 great dragons, Kurama said, looking at the 4 beasts surrounding him and Naruto, who was still crying out as the dragons roared.
Soon odd eyes became a stream of red energy and shot off into the sky, with the other 3 dragons soon following alongside him. Thunder and lightning ripped through the skies and massive maelstrom began to form in the skies above. Emerging from the sky was a creature of titanic length and ferocity. The darkness of the night sky shrouded its body, concealing it from Kurama. The beast was obscured by a predominantly black and dark violet form with green lines. The large dragon reared up its head, unleashing another fearsome roar before its eyes fell on Naruto. The dragon's eyes glow again, releasing another roar before it engulfed everything in bright blast of golden light.
Dual Sanctuary Garden Area. Naruto's shot open as he clenched his chest, breathing heavily. What was that strange dream? What was the meaning behind it? His thoughts were cut short by the sound of footsteps running towards him.
Naruto-kun, are you alright? Roku said with concern. Naruto looked back to Roku, unsure how to reply to him, but he didn't wish to worry Roku. Why yeah Gigi, I'm fine. Naruto said with a smile, rubbing the back of his head.
Roku had known Naruto well enough to know when the boys were genuine and when they were fake. But seeing the look in Naruto's eyes, he didn't want to bother the boy.
Alright Naruto. Well then, if you're feeling alright, would you mind going down to the market to pick up something for dinner? Roku asked, blushing, having to ask Naruto to do these choirs. The years had finally started to take their toll on the elderly duel master. But despite that, Naruto was always willing to help him.
You got it, Gigi, Naruto said, taking off down the temple steps.
That boy is truly something special. Roku thought with a smile on his face. Ever since he had met Naruto, the boy had shown to be pure of heart, helping those in need with no thought of reward, caring for those who were weak or sick, and standing up to anyone who would hurt the innocent. Not only that, he held a great deal of respect for each and every one of his cards. As Naruto ran down the steps of the dual sanctuary towards the nearby village, two cloaked figures hid within the shadows of the nearby trees. They were both wearing a full-length black coat with a hood and a waist-high slit going up the back.
With a large silver zipper that fastens at the top and zips down to seal the coat, silver drawstrings for the hood decorated with a large silver bead hanging from the end and a silver chain ornament adorned with 4 large cylindrical silver beads that fastens to a loop on either side of the collarbone region. However, the only difference was that the taller of the two had a massive sword on his back wrapped in white bandages and his coat had light blue lining while his partner's was red.
Say, partner, isn't that kid? Yes, but now is not the time to worry about that now. Our leader has given Zhu our orders. The shorter man replied.
The partner nodded. Yeah, I know. The taller man said as he grinned under his hood, showing his sharp shark-like fangs forming an almost demonic grin. Let's hope this Master Roku is as strong as they say he is.
The two men then made their way up the temple steps. Dual Sanctuary Roku's dojo room. Roku sat in meditation surrounded by statues of the most legendary of dual monsters. His eyes shot open when he sensed something was coming his way. Something powerful and malevolent.
Ryuga Village Marketplace. Naruto walked through the village's market looking over the various meats, fruits and of course vegetables, his most hated enemy. As long as he could remember he hated vegetables, but Roku had made it a point to feed them to him every chance he could get.
Hello, Naruto-kun, here for the usual today. The elderly woman said with a gentle smile. Her name was Misaki. She was a kind-hearted old woman and to Naruto's knowledge had crush on his mentor. You bet, Misaki Ba-chan. Naruto said as Misaki handed him a bag of vegetables. Even though he hated vegetables, he found that Misaki's were the only ones he would eat. Oh, and please give my beat to Roku-kun. Misaki said with a flirty wink, causing Naruto to chuckle.
You bet, I just wish Roku Gigi would catch on. Naruto said. Roku was a master of dual monsters, but he was ignorant about the ways of women. The blonde waved farewell to the elderly woman before making his way back to the sanctuary. As he walked he passed by a pair of young children laughing playing together. One was a boy and the other a girl. Naruto couldn't help but look back on in memory from his past.
Flashback 5 years, Konoha Park. The sun was shining on as the village of Konoha stood tall. 5 years had since the tragedy of the Kyuubi attack and the loss of their beloved Hokage Minato Namikaze. The Hokage monument stood proudly as testament to his bravery and the bravery of the Hokages who had come before him.
Hashirama Senju, Shidaime Hokage, leader of the Senju clan, one of the founders of the Leaf Village and the first user of fusion summoning. He was a caring and kind person dedicated to serve his village and had no rival but one, Madara Uchiha. Even now, years after his death, he's still remembered by everyone in the village. The second face belonged to Tobirama Senju, Nidaime Hokage. He was Hashirama's younger brother and became Hokage after his brother's death. He too was a very strong shinobi and duelist. In fact, each of the Hokage was hailed as the strongest duelist of their time. Tobirama was known for his extremely powerful high water and lighting monsters that allowed him to use high-ranking monsters with incredible power.
The third face on the monument was Sarutobi Hiruzen Sarutobi, of the Sarutobi clan, known for their mastery of all summonings and extreme skill in taijutsu and martial arts. Hiruzen is currently around 55 years old. He's one of the most powerful duelists in the village, but in his prime he was hailed as God of the Beasts. Hiruzen is the current leader of the Leaf Village after his successor the Yondaime Hokage died. And finally there was Minato Encontinue, the Yondaime Hokage, hailed as the strongest of the was also the fastest turbo dueler to ever live in the summoning nations. Not even the Raikages could compete with him in speed. He was known for his use of the Hiroshin no Jutsu, Flying Thunder God technique, a technique of his creation that allowed him to move at almost the speed of light. This technique was the reason that he was known as Yellow Flash, due to his blonde hair. The only thing that people managed to see was a yellow flash due to his speed. In the Leaf Village he was a hero that sacrificed his life to kill the Kyuubi no Kitsune that attacked the village 5 years ago. However, Minato's legacy would continue through his wife Kushina and his 2 children, especially his daughter Natsumi, the eldest of his 2 twins born on the day of the Kyuubi's attacks. She had shown great promise as a duelist and was known all around as the Crimson Princess of Konoha.
2 children were currently playing in Konoha Park, giggling and laughing without a care in the whole world.
The first was a young girl of 7 wearing a beautiful yellow kimono with indigo flower patterns. She had neck-length dark blue hair and white eyes that reminded you of the full moon in the night sky. The other was a young man of the same age wearing a white t-shirt and orange shorts. He had spiked blonde hair and cerulean blue eye like that vast ocean. They were 5-year-old Hinata Hyuga and Naruto Uzumaki.
Okay, Hinata-chan, now I'll hide and you try to find me, Naruto said with a smile.
Okay, Naruto-kun, Hinata said as her best friend ran into the forest to find a hiding spot while she went behind the tree to count. Naruto hid in the bushes waiting for Hinata to come and find him when he heard a loud shout. Hinata-chan. Naruto asked with worry as he ran to where he heard her scream to find Hinata surrounded by 3 older boys. Hey, leave her alone, Naruto said rushing to Hinata's side. Oh, a kid playing hero. Get lost before we hurt you too, they said, which made Naruto look up to see Hinata had a red bruise on her cheek.
The young Namikaze began to see red as anger coursed through him. How dare you hurt my Hinata-chan? He growled as a red aura surrounded his body. I'll make sure you all pay.
5 minutes later, the bullies laid face down on the ground, bruised and beaten, Naruto standing over them with his odd eyes standing beside him letting loose a mighty roar. Naruto walked up to Hinata and helped her up. Are you okay, Hinata? Naruto said, rubbing her cheek.
Uzu. Hinata nodded as she sunk into the hand. You don't have to worry, Hinata. No matter what happens, I'll always be here to protect you, Naruto promised.
Flashback end. Hinata-chan. Naruto said. A sad look appeared in his eyes at the memory of the friend he had left behind. How would she feel if she saw me again? She would probably hate me for abandoning her. Suddenly a shiver went down Naruto's spine as he reached the steps of the dual sanctuary and looked up to see a massive explosion burst from atop the mountain. Gigi. Naruto shouted, dropping the bag as he ran up the steps as fast he could. Meanwhile, Roku was breathing heavily with a few bruises. Roku, 1500 on his field was his powerful monster Arcana Knight Joker holding up both its swords. His opponent stood there completely unharmed, grinning at his opponent. On his field were 2 shark-like monsters. Well, this has been fun, old timer, but you should accept your fate and just tell us where the card is, the tall man said to Roku, who only glared at him, earning a toothy grin from his opponent. Still not gonna talk, huh? Good. I love a challenge, the man yelled as he raised up his hand. I overlay both my level 4 shark monsters. Both monsters became fully blue energy, shooting up and spiraling around each other. A red spiral portal appeared, and both monsters flew into it. With these 2 monsters, I construct the overlay network.
Rising out of the vortex soon after was a blue and white shark-like dragon with an almost humanoid build. On its back were 2 pairs of fin-like wings, and orbiting around its body were 2 balls of blue light. It let out a powerful roar as it and its master became surrounded by a bright blue aura. Roku looked at the duo with both shock and fear as they sensed a menacing power from them. Such savagery, these 2. Roku thought. Roku's eyes widened as a massive wave of water engulfed both him and his knight. The water rose high onto the sky, creating a large spiraling monster roared as it charged through and flipped through Roku's knight, sending the elderly man flying, mashing through the walls of the dual temple. Skidding across the wooden floor, Roku soon found himself slammed against a nearby wall, blood leaking from the corner of his mouth as the 2 men walked inside. Roku-san, we do not wish to do any more harm. Simply relinquish the card we seek and no more harm shall befall you, the shorter man said. Even though he was an enemy, Roku could sense there was sincerity in the young monk. Struggled to his feet, clenching his wounded arm as blood trailed down to the floor. The masters of the dual sanctuary have sworn an oath to protect this card till the day its chosen master awakens it from its, Roku said, resolutely glaring at the duo with an unwavering determination. Man, for an old man he's sure got fire in his heart, a partner, the taller man said. This is disappointing, the short one sighed. Roku OG-san, Naruto shouted, running to the temple steps to see the sanctuary in shambles and his surrogate grandfather injured. Naruto, stay away, run, Roku yelled as the 2 men turned to notice the young blonde running towards them. Underneath his hood, the shorter monk's eyes widened at the boy's name, and an image of younger Naruto running around with 2 young girls appeared in his head. Is that really Naruto? The man wondered. Hey, you okay, partner? The taller man asked. Yes, I'm fine, he replied, shaking his head. Well then, what should we do about this little runt? The taller man said, addressing Naruto, who glared at him. Hey, the name's not Runt, it's Naruto. Naruto replied glaring. So now that you know my name, how about giving me yours?
The taller man shrugged his shoulders. Fine by me, kid. He pulled down his hood and Naruto's eyes widened at the mons had a distinctive shark-like appearance, complete with pale, blue-gray skin. He had small, round, white eyes, 3 sets of curved facial markings under his eyes, gills on his shoulders, and sharp triangular teeth, the latter of which is a shared trait amongst most of the other members of the 7 Swordsmen of the Mist. He also styled his blue hair in the form of a shark fin. My name's Kisame Hoshigaki. Kisame introduced himself, causing Roku's eyes to widen. He had heard tells from the United Summoning Regions that duelist from the Kirigakure know for his fearsome dueling skills and mastery of XYZ summoning greater than any of those seen in years. Naruto, run away now, this man is very dangerous, my boy. Roku yelled, but Naruto didn't waver at all. He pulled out and strapped on his dual disc ready to battle.
Oh, so the little man thinks himself a hero, eh? Well then, this should be fun. Kisame said before looking over to his partner. You don't mind me taking the kid on to her partner? Kisame asked, not that his partner really dueled much anyway.
No, do as you wish, his partner replied. Alright then. Kisame grinned, activating his dual disc. Let's duel. Both said as they draw their hand. Naruto, 4000. Kisame. 4000, I'll start things off. Kisame said, drawing his card and grinning. I'll start by summoning this. One of my favorite pets, Big Jaws, 1800 300s, Kisame said. A large shark-like monster with huge teeth and a bladed fin crashed through the ground to take the field.
And since I summoned a fish-type monster, Shark Sucker's ability activates, letting me special summon it from my hand in attack mode. I'm calling out Shark Sucker, 201 thousandths. A thin shark-like monster crashed through a nearby building to take the field, bearing a silver disc on its head with 10 red circles on it.
He's got 2 level 3 monsters. Naruto whispered, knowing what was about to happen.
I overlay both my level 3 sharks. Kisame said as both his sharks became swirls of blue energy as a large vortex appeared in the center of the battlefield. With these 2 monsters I can build the overlay network. Both monsters.
XYZ summon. Come forth and unleash your savagery. Submersible carrier Arrow Shark, 1900 1000. His monster emerged as 2 giant blue sharks connected to an orange and silver apparatus. It let out a gurgling roar as it was orbited by 2 blue overlay units.
And he has a very effective ability. By using an overlay unit he can deal out damage to you equal to the number of cards in my hand multiplied by 400. And I've got 4, Kisame said, showing his hand to Naruto.
So I'll take 1600 points of direct damage, Naruto finished. Smart boy. Fire away, Arrow Shark. Kisame laughed as his monster launched 4 missiles were fired from the apparatus, splitting into 4 torpedoes each. Naruto held up his hand, protecting himself as explosions raged across the field like landmines. The force sent Naruto skidding a good distance away. Naruto. 4000-2400. That all you got? Naruto said with a cheeky grin. Ha, not at all, kid. I'll end my turn. Kisame finished. Alright then. My turn. Naruto said, drawing his 6th card. Since I have no monsters on the field I can summon Earth Armor Ninja, 1600-1200, Naruto said. A mound of dirt appeared in bursting from it was a male ninja. He wore a brown GI with metallic pieces of armor with katana sword on his back.
My move, draw, Naruto said as he draws his card. I'll start by activating Graceful Charity. I draw 3 and discard 2, he said as he did what the card said. Since that was a special summon I'm able to call this monster to the field, so come out Armed Ninja, 300 300ths. Naruto said as another shinobi came to join him on the battlefield. He was dressed in black chainmail covered by a blue GI, with a blue masked helmet with 2 golden double, in his hand he carried a bladed bow staff. Ha! That's your big move. Neither of those maggots can stand up to my Arrow Shark, Kisame declared, but Naruto smirked as he held up his card.
Play the magic card, Ninjutsu Art of Dragons. With this card, if I have a certain ninja monster I contribute it to summon its dragon ninja counterpart. Naruto explained, surprising Kisame.
A dragon ninja? Kisame questioned. That's right. Naruto smirked as Armed Ninja became engulfed a pillar of water as an attractive man with chestnut hair took to the field. He was in the exact same outfit as the Armed Ninja, the illusory form of a 10-foot, Spike-toothed sea serpent danced behind the man like a shadow.
Say hell to Blue Dragon Ninja, 2100 1200s, Naruto said as his ninja turned to him with a smile. I will not fail you, Master Naruto. Blue Dragon Ninja said to his master with unwavering loyalty. Great. Now I'll activate the second effect of my magic card, since I used Armed Ninja to special summon Blue Dragon. When he destroys an opponent's monster you take half its 80 points as damage, Naruto said. Blue Dragon raised its arm as the serpent rose into the air and lunged at Kisami's arrow shark, biting down on one of the sharks, causing blood to burst from the wound as it shatters. 4000-3800.
And now for the extra damage. The dragon turned to Kisame and unleashed a stream of high-pressured water on Kisame, pushing him back. 3800-2850.
Now Earth Armor Ninja direct attack, Naruto said, thrusting his hand forwards as he Earth Ninja pushed his palm on the ground, striking Kisame with several spikes of hardened rocks. 2850-1350.
Kisame growled, looking at the blonde boy in front of him. A smirk appeared on his face. Now this is a fun duel.
The other man looked at Naruto intently. That strategy. Those monsters. They are the same ones he used back then. So that really is Naruto. The cloaked duelist thought. My turn. Kisame said as he drew his card. I summon left-hand shark in attack mode, 1300-1300. Appearing on shark's side of the field was a blue and white shark with an oversized armed head. It had 4 fins on its back that were arranged like the fingers of a left hand. And since I have left-hand shark, I'm allowed to summon right-hand shark. Another shark monster appears beside, similar to the first one but in the form of right hand.
Now I overlay both my level 4 hand sharks. Kisame roared. Both monsters became swirling energy like the last two as blue vortex appears in front of Kisame, swallowing both monsters. Arise now, fearsome dragon of the sea. Come forth and with your jaws starving for blood devour my enemy. Kisame chanted. IXYZ summon. Bahamut Shark, 2600-2100.
Rising out of the vortex soon after was a blue and white shark-like dragon with an almost humanoid build. On its back were 2 pairs of fin-like wings, and orbiting around its body were 2 balls of blue. Let loose a fearsome roar as a blue aura burst from his body, his dragon roaring right alongside him as its yellow eyes glow fiercely. I activate Blue Dragon Ninja's ability. By discarding 1 ninja monster and ninjutsu card I can prevent your monster from attacking this turn, Naruto said, slotting 2 cards. Ha. That doesn't matter. I play the magic card Suikoden. Suikoden no Jutsu, Water Release. Water Shark Bullet. 2 whirlpools sprung from the ground, taking the form of 2 sharks made of water. Thanks to this card, when I have to 2 shark monsters I can deal my opponent damage, direct damage equal to their 80 points. The 2 sharks lunged at Naruto. This is not good. If that attack connects, Naruto is doomed. Roku thought with worry. Unknown to Roku, his pupil had a sly smirk on his face. I activate the effect of Damage Eater in my graveyard, Naruto said as a yellow demon appeared in front of him, opening its mouth wide. When my opponent activates an effect that deals effect damage I can't banish Damage Eater to not only negate the damage, but I also gain life points equal to that damage. Damage Eater swallowed the 2 sharks whole while Naruto was covered with a green aura as his life points increased. 2400-6900. No fucking way. Kisame growled in frustration. Naruto smirked. You know, you can tell a lot about a duelist based on how they duel, even pawn their first move. For instance, when you summoned Arrowshark, it wasn't hard to figure out that you ran a power deck that relied on powerful monsters combined with major effect damage, Naruto said, causing Kisame eyes to widen in shock. That boy. Roku thought, smiling proudly at his student. Naruto-kun, you haven't changed at all. Despite everything you've come far as a duelist, the hooded duelist thought. Damn it. Fine, I'll end my turn setting 1 card, Kisame growled. Naruto drew his next cards and smiles. Alright partner, time to fight. Naruto whispered. I activate the magic card, Odd Eyes Advanced. This allows me to normal summon an Odd Eyes monster from my hand.
A pillar of radiant light appeared and emerging from it was Odd Eyes. Red scales appeared every which way in jagged shards, nearly impaling the trees in the near vicinity. The dragon spun around, the 2 bodily spheres in the middle of its chest shining in the sunlight. Yuya jumped on Odd Eyes' back, running up its scales until he reached its head, where he took it by the horns like a tamer. Its heterochromatic eyes flashed when he did this.
That monster. Kisame and his partner thought simultaneously with shock as odd eyes glared at them.
Now I activate the magic card, Gift of the Martyr. Now by sacrificing my Earth Armor Ninja his ATK points get added to Odd Eyes. Earth nodded at Naruto before hopping onto Odd Eyes covering him in an orange aura as his power rose. 2500-3000.
Now Odd Eyes take out his Bahamut. Odd Eyes began to form an orb of swirling red and black energy before unleashing into a stream of powerful energy.
Trap card open, Shark Death Barrier. Kisame yelled. Arrow Shark shatters into the shards began to turn crimson red as massive whirlpool appeared nullifying Naruto's attack. Thanks to my trap by sacrificing Arrow Shark I can negate your attack.
Naruto grit his teeth in frustration. Damn it, I end my turn. Naruto finished. Intrusion. Penalty 2000 damage. A computerized voice announced both duelists looked to see Kisame's partner take to the field surprising both duelists. Kisame turned to his partner with surprise before turning to Naruto. Wow, you must be special, partner rarely ever duels. This is not good, now it's 2 against 1. Roku thought with worry. Ha, bring of on. Naruto said with excitement shocking Roku. Very well, Kisame your move. The man said looking over to his partner. Wow. Why the sudden interest? You never want to take part in our missions. Kisame grinned. Well, the circumstances have changed, his partner replied.
Fine then, I'll skip my turn to let you have the show, partner. Kisame said. His partner nodded and drew his card.
Very well. I activate Ancient Rule. Now I am able to summon a level 7 monster without a sacrifice. I call upon Red Eyes Black Dragon. 2400-1200s, a pillar of fire sprung forth and emerging from it was the legendary dragon.
Naruto's eyes widen as he looks up at the ebony dragon hovering above him and couldn't help but sense a strong familiarity with it. That red eyes, there's something familiar about it. Naruto's thoughts were soon caught off as his opponent made his move.
I activate the spell, Inferno Fire Blast. Now in exchange for skipping my battle phase I'm allowed to deal damage to you equal to that of my Red Eyes Adik. His second opponent said as Red Eyes opens its jaw widely forming a sphere of molten fire and sent it straight towards him engulfing Naruto in a pillar of swirling flames causing the young man to scream out in pain. Naruto. 6900-4500. I'm not done yet. Next I play Polymerization fusing the Archfiend Soldier in my hand with my Red Eyes. A orange and blue vortex appeared in the sky swallowing Red Eyes and the Demon Warrior before a new creature emerged from it. The dragon was a larger version of Red Eyes, its body covered in bone-like armor similar to that of an archfiend, its crimson reds burning bright as the fires of hell itself.
Behold, Archfiend Black Skull Dragon. 3200-2500s, the new dragon roared creating a violent wind blowing away several leaves and rocks along the way even sending Naruto skidding back forcing him to cover his eyes with his hands.
Now Black Skull destroy Odd Eyes. Red Hell's Fire. Black Skull smashed his claws into the stone tiles causing the ground below to shake causing even the temple to tremble. Naruto looked around frantically shocked at the sheer power the dragon possessed. Suddenly one after the other large pillars of magma surrounded by swirling fire sprung up from the ground. Cracks appeared in the ground revealing hot magma. The sky became surrounded by clouds and the pillars rose higher into the air. What's this? Roku exclaimed in utter horror at the sight before him. This is like hell. Black Skull dragged his claw across the ground before driving it right through Naruto's dragon causing it to cry out in agony. Black Skull proceeded to bite down on Odd Eyes ripping out part of its throat at the process. Odd Eyes. Naruto cried out in horror looking at his most precious partner as it was destroyed right in front of him. Naruto. 4500-3800. Don't think you're safe. When my Black Skull destroys a monster I can choose another Red Eyes monster in my graveyard and deal you damage equal to my dragon's attack points.
Go. Red Eyes Revenge. The flames came together forming the recently deceased Red Eyes. The flaming dragon dived down towards Naruto who braced himself. Red Eyes slammed into Naruto's torso making him bit his lip to keep from screaming as blood spray out of his body. The dragon's claws then slammed themselves down onto Naruto sending the blonde down into the ground making a small crater. Naruto. 3800-1400.
Naruto. Roku cried out in horror seeing what had happened to his surrogate grandson. Naruto struggled to sit up, panting as he looked at his torso to see his shirt was completely singed with only strands and pieces left and covered in blood, so he ripped it off, revealing his muscular body as he stood up, blood leaking from his forehead. "Wow. This Gaki is a stubborn one," Kisame said, crossing his arms with an amused grin, looking at Naruto clutching his bleeding arm. "With this, my turn is done." Roku looked at the butchered state Naruto was in and grit his teeth in frustration as all he could do was watch, worried a bit and wondering if he should do something.
Naruto grit his teeth as pain racked throughout his entire body as he fell to his knees before spitting out a glob of blood onto the stone floor of the dual sanctuary before collapsing to the ground. His eyes began to get clouded as he felt his consciousness slipping away.
And no, this can't be how it ends. I can't die, Naruto thought.
In those small moments Naruto's life began to flash through his mind.
His childhood of neglect, the loneliness he felt growing up looked down on as a failure. And an image of two beautiful young girls' smiling faces.
No, I'm not gonna die here, not like this. I have to fulfill my dream, to become the next dual king, to show everyone that I'm not just some failure.
Naruto clenched his fist tightly, his necklace hanging loosely as it swayed back and forth.
And also to go back Sakeo and Hinata like I promised. A bright yellow aura surrounded Naruto's body as he slowly began to rise to his feet, his eyes covered by the bangs of his hair as the pendant shined the glowing stalk. Naruto was a few inches taller. His hair had grown and now reached the center of his upper back, and his blonde hair acquired red streaks. His cerulean blues had also changed. His right eye was now crimson red while his left was emerald green, each one with a reptilian slit.
What's going on? He's different, he's changed, Kisame yelled in shock upon setting his sights on Naruto, who had gone through this strange transformation. It's my turn, I draw, Naruto shouted as his deck became covered by a golden aura and drew his card. First I play the spell card or sanctity, now we each draw until we have 6 cards. Naruto said as the three did just that. Before he took up 2 cards and held them up in his hands. I use Scale 1 Odd Eyes Persona Dragon, and Scale 8 Odd Eyes Mirage Dragon to set the pendulum scales.
Naruto said as he put the 2 cards on the left and right ends of his dual discs. 2 transparent pillars of light appeared reaching high into the sky, a giant version of Naruto's pendant swinging back and forth between them. The column on Naruto's right contained a small red bipedal dragon with small arms and thick white armor covering the top of its head and the back of its neck. Embedded beneath the white armor covering the dragon's chest was a large blue orb. Beneath it was a golden one. Meanwhile, the column on Naruto's left contained another small dragon similar to the first, only it was green and had 4 long white spikes growing from its chin and a short curved yellow horn growing from the white armor covering its forehead. Beneath him was a golden 8. Swing. Pendulum of souls, carve across the ether and through it carve out the path that leads me to my destiny. Naruto shouted as the pendulum illuminated the dark clouds in the sky, allowing the sun to shine. Pendulum summon. Come and join me, my faithful monsters, Naruto said, holding up his hand as 3 lights emerged from the portal in the sky. Appear, Nobel sorcerer who controls the earth. Dragon Pulse Magician, 1800/900. The orange light took on the form of a young man with light orange hair that was short except for a long braided ponytail that went halfway down his back. He had on a long white coat, gold trim, and the collar and shoulders colored navy blue. Around each of the young man's upper arms were 2 pairs of rope-like green bands. Underneath his jacket, the young man had on a black bodysuit, and around his upper legs were 2 pairs of green bands like the ones on his upper arms. Atop the young man's head was a small white and gold conical hat with a gold ornament on each side resembling a dragon's wing. In his left hand, the young man had a white and blue bladed bow-like weapon. Connected to each end of the weapon was a long gold ribbon that resembled the body of a serpent-like dragon, and attached to this ribbon near one of the blades was a small red crystal orb. Let's strike silent as the night. White Ninja, 1500/800. A young female ninja appeared, her face covered by her horned mask as she kneeled beside Naruto's other monster. Finally. Stand by my side, my faithful partner, Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon. 2500/2000. The final ball of light was a red dragon with small arms and a dinosaur-like body. Its right eye was red and its left eye was green. The dragon had a pointed yellow beak-like snout filled with sharp white teeth, and on the sides of its head had a pair of long tan horns that pointed back. A small blue orb adorned the crest of the dragon's head, and embedded under the white armor on its chest was another much larger blue orb. On its back was a pair of large tan curved spikes, the right spike embedded with 2 green orbs and the left embedded with a single red orb. Naruto turned to Odd Eyes, looking over his new form in utter amazement. "Looking good, old buddy," Naruto said with a toothy grin which Odd Eyes returned. Naruto clenched his chest as he felt something strange within him. This feeling. Naruto turned his head to see a card soaring over towards him, catching it in his hands and looked towards it.
The sealed treasure of the Dual Sanctuary, it has chosen Naruto, Roku said with utter disbelief. "Uh-oh, this may be a problem," Kisame said, turning to his partner who didn't seem fazed at all.
Naruto held up his hand yet again. "I overlay my level 4 magician and ninja," Naruto said as his monsters became pure orange and yellow energy. A large vortex in the form of a galaxy appeared in the middle of the battlefield and pulled in both Naruto's monsters, but unlike with Kisame, both grew wings and took one the form of 2 serpent-like dragons before diving into the portal below them.
From the pitch-black darkness, rise up against the foolish oppression with the fang of rebellion, Naruto chanted as lighting flashed across the sky.
Rising out of the vortex was a fairly large bipedal dragon with well-developed arms.
Much of the creature's body was colored a deep purple, while the underside of its neck was colored a dark teal. It had an almost eel-like face with small savage yellow eyes and a mouth full of sharp fangs, with the largest ones growing from its jaw. On the front of the dragon's jaw, like a tuck, was a large metal spike that curved upward, and it had armor on the sides of its head that formed into a pair of horn-like blades that curved back. Covering the front of the dragon's torso were pieces of gray and black armor with curved glowing red lines on the sides of the chest armor, and mounted on the sides of its forearms were 2 thick flat blades with small round purple gems fitted into the base. The beast's tail was wide at the end and had a pair of long metal spikes that curved upward, and on its back was a large pair of black and purple metallic wings, each with a purple orb fitted into the long metal spike that extended out towards the base of the wing. "Descend now. XYZ summon. Come forth, Dark Rebellion XYZ Dragon," Naruto yelled as both his dragons unleashed a powerful roar. "2 heavenly dragons. Are we even prepared for this?" Kisame exclaimed. "Dark Rebellion's ability activates by using an overlay unit. I can cut the attack points of an opponent's monster in half. Also, that amount is added to Dark Rebellion's 80 points." Naruto explained as one of the purple orbs surrounding the dragon were absorbed by its right wing. Purple lightning surged around the creature and it roared. With a defiant swoop of its wings, it shot the lightning at Black Skull, who crumpled to its knees. 3200-1600, Dark Rebellion surged with lighting as its power increased. 2500-4100. 4,100 attack points, Kisame exclaimed, taken aback by the Black Dragon's strength.
"Now I play the spell Spiral Strike Burst," Naruto said as he activated his spell card. Odd Eyes began to form a mass of red and black swirling energy within his jaws. "When I control an Odd Eyes monster, I can choose one monster OMN my opponent's field and destroy it, and I choose Shark Bahamut," Naruto said, pointing directly at the shark-like dragon. Odd Eyes soon unleashed his streaming of spiraling red and black energy towards Bahamut, causing it to shatter.
"Not good," Kisame said, gritting his teeth knowing what was coming. "Go Odd Eyes. Direct attack." Odd Eyes jumped high into the sky above and released its attack, once again striking Kisame dead on, causing the shark man to growl in pain. Kisame. 1350-0.
"And now it's your turn. Dark Rebellion attack Archfiend Black Skull Dragon Rebellious Lightning Disobey." The lightning intensified, this time coating the dragon's entire body. Its dark fangs became a pristine white as it flew forward with its heavy tailwinds. With a swift uptilt of its chin, the dragon dug its fangs into dragon's body, and the latter monster exploded within seconds. The dragon's owner covering his eyes with his held-up elbow. 2000-0.
Kisame. 0 unknown. 0 Naruto. 1400 winner. Naruto smiled and gave a shaky thumbs up with his signature grin. "That's game. Believe it." Unknown location. XYZ region. Help please hell. The woman's cry was silenced as the mugger slaps his hand over her mouth. Now, pretty young thing, nice and easy," the mugger said, rummaging through her purse. Suddenly the mugger squeals in pain as his hand is yanked out of the purse by a stinging whip wrapped around his wrist. The mugger turned around to see a lone figure walking towards them. "Who the hell are you?" the mugger growled as the figure walked towards them. They wore a long dark cloak over a black, skin-tight, short-sleeved unitard with pauldrons, matching fingerless gloves that extend to her biceps, and thigh-high boots. This outfit was hidden under a black hooded cloak. "I just love a big strong man not afraid to show off with someone half his size," the girl said, stopping in front of Mugger and his victim holding up a duel disc. "HMMP. You want a duel? Fine, then I'll think I'll have a little fun with you," the mugger said with a smirk. "Be gentle with me," the girl said with a smirk of her own as her eyes glow bright green. All throughout the alley the man's screams echoed.
Naruto opened his eyes to find himself in his mindscape and looked around, and then he saw a man floating in midair. He had red samurai armor on with a white coat. He held a kakara with rings on one end and a 9/10 completed circle on the other end. He had red hair and 9 black orbs floating underneath him. He had a smile, triangle beard, and a kind look on his face. However, what caught Naruto's attention was the man's eyes, which were light purple sclerae and irides with a ripple pattern that spreads over the eyeball. "Greetings, Naruto," the man spoke in the kind voice that echoed with power. Naruto backed up in fear of this man, for fear of being attacked. Whoa, Naruto, calm down, I'm not going to hurt you." Naruto looked at this man confused and curious. "How do you know my name?" Naruto asked. "That's easy. I know how to recognize a descendant of my blood when I see them. My name is Hagoromo Otsutsuki. But you may know me as the Rakuto Sennin." Naruto's eyes widened in shock, as even he had heard of the ancient shinobi who was said to create all ninjutsu.
"You were the one who created ninjutsu," Naruto said, shocked. "Ninshu," Hagoromo corrected, irritated. "Ninshu?" Naruto asked, confused. "Yes, Ninshu. The art that I created was meant to spread peace. Don't compare that to the tools of war that your ancestors created," Hagoromo said as he remembered the art that his followers had corrupted. "So why are you here?" Naruto asked. "I'm here to teach my successor the legend of the Heavenly Dragons." "Your successor, Heavenly Dragons?" Naruto asked, curious to what the man was talking about.
Hagoromo nodded. "Yes, you will have the powers of both Asura and Indra, as well as Moka, my Uzumaki daughter."
Hagoromo formed a pool of water and waved his staff over the pool. "When, a millennium ago, my mother, Kagaya, came to this world in search of the power of the gods.
On her travels she met Arashi, a young man of the Uzumaki clan.
The two of them grew closer together as years passed. Over time they fell in love and my mother became pregnant with me and my brothers Homura and Kazuma." Hagoromo gave a sad sigh. However, their happiness did not last. "Woru Uzumaki, my father's elder brother, viewed that humanity was corrupted and evil and only sought to bring about destruction. To that end he created the 4 dragons of incredible power and used them to nearly destroy all of humanity. Other father was also able to harness the power of the dragons and used it to summon 4 holy dragons known as the 4 heavenly dragons. Together they fought against Woru's ambitions. They won, but at a cost. My father died in the battle. But Woru, however, managed to survive, embedding a fragment of his soul inside my mother, consuming her soul with sadness and anger, corrupting her desire for peace. She believed it was necessary for her to attain godlike powers in order to put an end to all humanity's conflicts. For that reason she defied the taboo of consuming the fruit of the Shinju. Using her new-found power, Mother put an end to all of humanity's conflicts, and she was worshipped from that day on as Usagai no Megami, rabbit goddess, and had settled down amongst humans, as she would eventually get pregnant and bear twin sons, me, and my brother, Homura. As time passed, however, Kagaya began to lose trust in humanity as the power she now held, ultimately Woru's soul, corrupted her.
This eventually led her to madness, as she created her ideal of peace by trapping her victims in the infinite Tsukuyomi, which changed her public image from that of a benevolent goddess into that of a demon. Some time later, in a fit of envy that her sons had inherited her chakra, Kagaya combined with the Shinju itself and turned against them in the form of the monstrous Jubi. With this power, Woru was able to revive the evil dragons and merge them together into one. My brother Kazuma had inherited our father's power and merged with the 4 dragons to fight them, and like our father before him died. Me and my brother separating and absorbing our mother's powerful chakra while sealing her body to form the core of a celestial body that would become known as the moon. My brother later departed along with the rest of the Otsutsuki clan to the moon to guard his mother's remains,
while I stayed in order to spread chakra to humanity and teach them the concept of ninshu.
My ultimate wish was to establish peace across the world, but it was a goal that would never be achieved in a single lifetime.
Knowing this, I chose to entrust his dream and legacy to Indra and Asura, and began to teach them ninshu. My son, Indra, was acknowledged by me as a true prodigy, who quickly began to revel in his natural prowess and became very solitary.
The younger son, Asura, proved to be the exact opposite, having shown no special abilities or natural talent, but he pushed on through his limitations, growing stronger and more mature because of his struggles and making friends with others along the way.
I acknowledged Asura's chosen path, agreeing that love and cooperation were the true keys to peace.
Inspired by his younger son, I separated the Jubi chakra within his body and used his to divide it into 9 separated bodies, creating the Biju and giving each a name.
As a result of extracting them all at once, I was left weakened and incapacitated for several months, though the powerful life force of the Jubi husk kept me alive.
Sometime after their creation, the young-tailed beasts were told that they were all still linked to one another despite being separate entities.
I also told them that they would eventually become one again, yet not as they originally were, and that one shall appear at that time to show them what true power is. I eventually sealed the husk of the Jubi within the moon.
On my deathbed, I chose Asura to be my successor, but Indra was overcome by bitterness and envy as well as being encouraged and manipulated by Black Zetsu, fought against Asura, beginning a war between them that would continue through their descendants.
Sensing this, Waru's spirit sought out Indra, corrupting him like my mother before him, entrusting his descendants with the task of reviving the evil dragons in Waru's return. Hagoromo explained while Naruto listened with wide eyes, amazed at his ancestors' history. But what does that have to do with me? Naruto said, unsure what role he had to play. A prophecy was told that someday a child of the Uzumaki would be born with the power of the dragons. He would come to reunite the 4 dragons and together finally end the eternal cycle of hatred. Hagoromo stated. Years ago, one of Konoha's 3 legendary duelists, Jiraiya, came to hear of this. He believed that your father was this child, but he was wrong. Naruto's eyes widened hearing this, and suddenly a question that has long been haunting him surfaced. Is that the reason Kushina never wanted me to duel? Naruto asked. Hagoromo nodded. Yes, after the loss of your father because of the prophecy. Kushina vowed Sage would never allow you to meet the same fate. For that reason she forbade you from dueling, hoping to keep you away from this fate. But I see she was able to, Hagoromo said.
That's right, dueling is everything to me. Through duels I feel more free than I've ever been. I can connect with others through the battles with Share, and with each new duel I can make new friends. Naruto said as he placed his hand on his chest. Through duels I'm able to connect and understand people.
Hagoromo smiled at the young man before him. Those were the same words his older brother told him. That's well said, Naruto. Kazuma and Asura said those same words to me. And it is that pure heart you posses that has drawn the dragons to you. Hagoromo smiled as both Odd Eyes and Dark Rebellion spirits appeared behind Naruto. Odd Eyes, Dark Rebellion. Naruto said, his eyes met with both dragons. Old man. Kurama said, gazing at his creator and father in disbelief. Kurama. I am glad to see that you have finally learned to trust in others. I know that you will be able to look after Naruto. Old man. Kurama grit his teeth as tears formed in his eyes. But Hagoromo Gigi, I only have 2 of the dragons, where are the others? Naruto asked. Hagoromo held up his staff. The pool showed the image of a map.
When Pegasus recreated the dragons as dual monsters, he knew that they could only be awaked by their fated possessor. To that end he entrusted the cards to Roku and 2 other dual masters, knowing they would be well protected and hidden in the 4 summoning regions. However, Odd Eyes found his way to you by his own will. Because that reason Dark Rebellion knew you were worthy of his power as well. Hagoromo said.
So will the other dragons awaken too? Naruto asked as Hagoromo nodded. Well then, looks like I've got some work to do. Naruto slamming his fist against his palm with a look of excitement.
He, always ready for an adventure, kid. Kurama chuckled along with Hagoromo.
I have faith in you, Naruto. Whenever you need help I will be there. Hagoromo said as a flash of light engulfed them. Duel Sanctuary. XYZ region. 2 weeks have passed since Naruto's duel. Aga isn't the Akatsuki. Roku was in his resting his injuries from his duel with Kisame. Naruto was currently outside the temple looking at the 2 cards in his hand. Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon and Dark Rebellion. I'll find your brothers, guys, that's a promise. Naruto vowed, smiling as his two dragons who roared in agreement. Naruto was broken from his thoughts by the sound of footsteps and looked up to see someone walking up the steps of the dual sanctuary. Standing at the entrance was a person concealed by a hooded black cloak. Can I help you? Naruto asked as the stranger walked up temple. I've come here for the master of the dual sanctuary. The person said, their voice feminine. Yes, how can I help you? Roku said, walking up, his right arm bandaged from his duel with Kisame. The girl reeled back her cloak before tossing it to the side to reveal a beautiful young woman Naruto's age.
She had indigo hair tied into a ponytail with a large yellow ribbon and green eyes. Her hair also had two light blue bangs that fall to the sides of her face. A simple red jacket, kept half unzipped over a black shirt. She also wore a red skirt held up by a brown belt with a silver buckle and ring connecting to two straps going over her torso, while her thighs are covered by biker shorts, and she wears all brown boots.
My name is Serena. And I challenge you to a duel, Serena demanded, pointing to S surprised Roku. Naruto held out his arms, jumping in front of his master.
Hold on. Roku Gigi is hurt right now, he's in no condition to be dueling. So you should just leave, Naruto said, glaring at Selena, which she returned.
No way, I've come here to defeat the best of the dual sanctuary and I'm going to do it, Serena said. Fine then, if it's a duel you want then let's go, Naruto said, holding up his deck. I as Master Roku's student will face you in his place. Selena smirked at Naruto's challenge. Fine with me, I'll mop the floor with you before crushing your teacher, Selena said, strapping on her duel disc along with Naruto. The two young duelists walked onto the sanctuary dueling field, sharing a heated glare with one another. Roku looked at both children and sensed they both had fearsome auras. Let's duel, Naruto and Serena shouted. Naruto, 4,000. Serena, 4,000. I'll start, Naruto said as drew his card. I'll start by summoning Flame Armor Ninja, 1700 1000, in defense mode, Naruto said as a shinobi dressed in red appeared kneeling in front of him. I set one card face down and end my turn. Is that all you've got? Pathetic, Selena said as she drew her card and smirked. I activate the spell card Polymerization. I fuse Moonlight Blue Katand Moonlight Purple Butterfly. Above Serena was a young woman who was light blue skinned with large purple hair and large beautiful wings. She wore a skin-tight heroine suit, and she wore a half-moon mask over her face as well. She was joined by a female, humanized blue cat, whose left eye was covered by an orange mask shaped like a crescent moon, but they were immediately pulled into the spiral of light behind her. Blue cat that prowls through the darkness. Butterfly with violet poison. Spiral into the moon's gravity and become a new power, Serena chanted as her two monster became swirling purple energy within an orange and blue vortex before she brought her hands together. Fusion summon. Come to me, beautiful beast that dances in the moonlight. Moonlight cat dancer. 2,400 2000s, Serena yelled as a mature woman with long red hair and a flowing blue dress over a red and purple suit, that were actually just had cat ears on top of her head, and she wore a face mask over her eyes, which connected to her own half-moon mask, and she wore a large purple hat on her head. She looked over to Naruto and gave him a seductive wink, causing the boy to blush.
Next I'll summon a second Moonlight Blue Cat, 1600 1200, in attack mode, Serena announced as another female humanoid cat girl appears beside Cat Dancer. Now I activate my Cat Dancer's ability. By sacrificing another Moonlight monster, my Cat Dancer can attack your monsters twice, Selena announced, shocking Naruto. Blue Cat shatters while Cat Dancer tosses two spiraling blades towards Naruto's ninja. Man, you mock me for my strategy, but you're just bumbling into an attack. I activate my face down, Naruto announced as his face down flipped upwards, creating a swirling barrier around Naruto's ninja. Forget about my face down card. Well, just so you know, it was negate attack, so not only is my monster safe but the battle phase ends here, Naruto said, smirking at the sneer on Serena's face. Fine, I'll set one card face down and end my turn, Serena declared, slotting a card causing a face down to appear on her field. Okay, then it's my turn, Naruto said, drawing his card, and was surprised to see what the card was. That's odd, I never had this card in my deck before. Is this a result if unlocking Pendulum summoning? Well, there's no time to think on that situation, I've got to focus on the task at hand, Naruto though as he picked out his card. I'll start by activating the spell Pendulum Call. Now by discarding one card from my hand I can add 2 Magician Pendulum monsters to my hand. Naruto announced, slotting a card into his graveyard before 2 cards shot out from his deck, adding them to his hand.
Pendulum? I've never heard of a card like that, Serena thought. Using my Scale 1 Timegazer Magician, and Scale 8 Timegazer Magician, I set the Pendulum scale. Naruto announced, placing both cards on the far ends of his duel disk. 2 pillars of light appeared on each side of Naruto, containing one of his magicians inside.
The first is dark-colored ginger spiky-haired magician with a tiring expression as he wears a black golden design magician's outfit with a long golden scale blade-like device attached on the right side of his glove. He has a large number 8 above his head.
The second is a long blonde-haired magician with a calming expression as he wears a white-blue magician theme outfit wielding a long white golden rod with a roundish shield around the left hand. A large number 1 appears above him. With this I'm now able to summon monsters from levels 2 through 7 simultaneously. Naruto announced, raising his hand to the sky as a larger version of his necklace swung between the pillars. Swing. Pendulum of Souls, carve across the ether and through it carve out the path that leads me to my destiny. Naruto shouted as the pendulum illuminated the dark clouds in the sky, allowing the sun to shine. Pendulum Summon. Come and join me, my faithful monsters, Naruto said, holding up his hand as 3 lights emerged from the portal in the sky.
Come out, Wind Armor Ninja, an Odd Eyes Pendulum Dragon, Naruto shouted as the water-attributed armor ninja appeared alongside his faithful dual-eyed dragon, who gave out a loud roar.
He summoned 2 monsters at the same time, and one is a level 7, Serena exclaimed in shock. I overlay level 4 flame and water armor ninja. With these 2 monsters I build the overlay network, Naruto announced as a red vortex appeared, drawing in both Naruto's monsters as swirling red and blue energy.
XYZ Summon. Draw your blade. Blade Armor Ninja, 2200 1000ths. Naruto shouted. Appearing was Pillar of Green Wind, a warrior descended within the pillar. He was wearing dark red armor, with yellow pieces on his shoulder, arm, and waist guard. He also wore a black hood on his head, and he had 2 red eyes, and a 1 yellow horn. On his back was a special sword sheath, that looks like it rotates, and it stored 2 katanas.
Finally an XYZ monster. Serena smirked. I activate Blade's ability. By using an overlay unit he's able to make 2 attacks during this battle, Naruto announced as Blade Armor Ninja held up his katana, absorbing the overlay unit before drawing his second katana. Oh, and speaking of battle, Odd Eyes attack her cat dancer. I think not. I activate my trap dimension wall, Serena announced. Timegazer Magician's effect activates. When a pendulum monster attacks, my opponent can't activate any trap cards until the end of the damage step, Naruto announced as Odd Eyes jumped into air, firing a stream of swirling red and black energy upon Serena's cat dancer, pushing the blue-haired girl back. Serena. 4000-3900. Ha. So you shaved 100 life points off. It doesn't do you any good, Serena taunted before Odd Eyes' gems shined, unleashing a shockwave of red energy, pushing Serena back again. Serena. 3900-3800. Sorry, but my dragon deals double damage when it destroys a monster, Naruto stated. And my ninja's about to end this duel. Blade dashed past Naruto's dragon, taking 2 swift strikes at the Lunalite duelist with his blades. Serena. 3800-1600-0.
Alright, nice work you guys, Naruto said, petting Odd Eyes and smiling up at Blade, giving an eye smile in return while Odd Eyes gave a soft growl.
Naruto looked over to see Serena, who punched the ground in frustration. He walked up to the girl and held out a hand, confusing the girl.
That was a good duel. I hope we can have a rematch sometime, Naruto said with a warm smile.
Serena hesitated for a brief moment before accepting his hand as he helped her up. Young lady, I must ask, why is it you were so bent on challenging me? Roku asked. Serena looked over at Roku. Where I come from, strength is everything. I hoped that by challenging the strongest duelist in the 4 regions would prove my worth as a duelist, she explained. That's
a pretty stupid way to look at dueling. It's about testing your skills and forging new bonds with other people who love the game. At least that's my way of dueling, Naruto said, scratching the back of his head.
Forging bonds with others? Serena asked with confusion. Naruto nodded. Yeah, every time I meet a new person and face them in a duel, I can tell what the person is like deep down inside. And when I meet someone as incredible, I feel like I'm able to go far beyond what I'm capable of. Naruto explained.
Well said, Naruto. That's the kind of determination that will make you a champion. Roku said with a warm smile.
Thanks Roku Jii. So you know what that means? Naruto asked. Roku nodded. Yes, I knew this moment would come one day. But I suppose destiny is calling out to you, isn't it? Yeah. It is. Naruto said, pulling out odd eyes and dark rebellion. Now to find the clear wing, and starve venom. Naruto thought as he looked up to the sky and saw the shadows of two unknown dragons looking down above. The end. Remember to subscribe and like this video. See you in the next video.